Look at me, sure. I'm the captain.
Captain James! Howe!
Ahoy there, welcome to Rated Aargh. Thank you for joining us on another adventure as we chart our course through the realms of cinematic piracy. Today, we're steering into modern waters with the 2013 thriller Captain Phillips, directed by Paul Greengrass and starring Tom Hanks as the titular captain in a harrowing, real-life hijacking off the coast of Somalia. My name is Ryan, and please join me in welcoming my co-captains Christian and Braxton. Guys, how's it going?
No tricks.
No tricks, Irish.
No tricks, Irish.
No tricks, Irish. I remember after we watched this a couple years ago, Christian said no tricks, Irish for months.
For about a year.
Yeah,
For about
probably,
a year.
probably.
He said it every...
All the time. No tricks, Irish. It was like a tick, like him in Interstellar with the TARS,
Right,
or with the Dark Knight with you want to know how I got these scars. Christian's had.
I don't even remember that.
You've had a bunch of things that you just
with
randomly
Christian,
spout.
and I agree. The more obscure and like inconsequential the quote is for the movie, the funnier it is to repeat. Which is why it's funnier to say no tricks than it is to say I'm the captain now, because it's a little more obscure,
Yeah. I know I think we've all watched this together before, actually. And this, I think, may be one of the first ones that we have all watched separately. I know a lot of times, like Christian may be watching it by himself, but me and you probably watch it together, Braxton. But this one we watched completely separately, which, I mean, we've all seen it before. So,
yeah, I think that was why. I was kind of like, just to rewatch.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of the stuff we've watched lately,
yeah.
we haven't even ever seen before, or really probably even heard of before we decided to do it for the show. So, this is one though. Came out while we were in high school, and I had never seen it until, I don't know, 3-4 years ago when we watched it. Probably. Did you guys watch this in theaters?
No, my first time watching it, we watched it separately, but my first time watching it was like 2 weeks into COVID lockdowns, and it was from a borrowed DVD copy from Braxton. So in a way, we watched the same DVD copy for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Captain Phillips was released in theaters October 11th, 2013, with a budget of $55 million. It finished its theatrical run with a whopping $218 million worldwide box office, and almost made half of its budget back on opening weekend, where it raked in a whopping $25 million. Captain Phillips stars Tom Hanks as Captain Phillips and Barkhad Abdi, who plays Muse, who is the Somali pirate who orchestrates the hijacking of the Maersk, Alabama. It has a 93% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience score, which honestly might be the highest rated one across the board that we've done so far. It has a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and a 3.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So pretty strong ratings for Captain Phillips. Do you think it's good enough to deserve those ratings compared to some of the other ones that we've watched?
Yes and no, because we were talking about this yesterday, Ryan, about the comedy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, yes, this is a great film, especially upon rewatch. I liked it even more than when I watched it the first time. But I think this is one of those where, like, this is a serious professional movie, guys. It's not some Pirates of the Caribbean kid stuff. Why does Pirates of the Caribbean and this have to be... Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like they're equally as good, but they're different types of movies entirely. And I feel like the ratings are skewed higher because people are like, based on a true story, Tom Hanks is acting. It's great.
Yeah.
But why can't Pirates of the Caribbean be equally as great?
I would argue Pirates of the Caribbean is more entertaining to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Based on a true story, plus Tom Hanks, plus a feel-good ending.
Yeah.
Where the good guy wins.
Right.
That's like the hack to getting a good rating, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who, and I will say, I asked ChatGPT for some questions just to ask and see what it would come up with. And it posed a question that I found intriguing and I wanted you guys' opinion on, which is who are we actually supposed to be rooting for in this movie? Are we supposed to be rooting for Captain Phillips? Or are we supposed to be rooting for the pirates? Because
Yeah.
I would think Captain Phillips, right?
But there's more character stuff about the pirates.
Yeah.
We're supposed to root for Captain Phillips, but there's more character development and more moments of character with the pirates. Captain Phillips is almost the audience, in a way.
Yes, Captain Phillips is the protagonist. I think it would have been a slightly different movie if they focused more on the fact that this is what separates this from something like Caribbean piracy was that this is not, like a path of evil that they fell into. This was literally like they had no other choice.
Yeah, for the most part.
In coastal Somalia, it was like either you're going to sit in a village going through famine, and your options are to kind of be miserable or be recruited into some sort of loose crime syndicate that goes out and they try to steal or they try to ransom wealthier people, wealthy ships for money. And that's like a very real thing that happens. Somali piracy still exists. I know typically they'll target like European sailors and vacationers that will just be like sailing around the Horn of Africa, and they will kidnap these people, bring them back to shore, and then track down their families and try to solicit ransom money for months. And they'll keep these people alive and try to solicit ransoms from the family. So all that's real, and there was
a lot of those people die too, don't they?
I've never heard a story of someone dying. I'm like absolutely sure that it's probably happened. But in terms of like people don't understand is that like recruitment into cartels, recruitment into modern piracy, the areas of the world where that happens, it's like you start from a young age and you don't have much other choice. I feel like they could have very easily followed the guys and made you feel bad for them. There were some hints in the dialogue, some parts here and there, especially from Markad's character, Muse, where he talked about like a little bit about his background and was saying, I forgot what it was. He was like, Tom Hanks' character said something like, you don't have to be a fisherman that kidnaps people. And then Musa says something like, maybe in America. As in like, he does not have that choice where he grew up. And so I thought that was pretty impactful, but they still do a good job of making the pirates kind of villainous and very unlikable just through some interactions which are very odd. They have them chewing on what is it called? I think it's called chat. It's like a Somali
Khat.
It's almost like it's like a it'll get
it's
you
some
high
kind of
pretty
like
quickly.
a plant or like a weed, and it has essentially the equivalent of like nicotine and caffeine and something else. So I think it's like relatively addictive.
Yeah, it's addictive, and it's considered it's banned in the U.S. You cannot take it through airports. I know that because I watched To Catch a Smuggler, and they catch that coming through airports all the time, and it is considered like a very high-level narcotic. But it showed them taking that, and so I was wanting to do a little bit more research into that. On like, was that like almost like what movie was it? Mad Max, where they would spray their lips and it would give them like a superhuman, like they don't feel anything. So I wonder if that has something to do with them kind of being fearless and taking down these ships.
Yeah, that's probably part of the little ritual, you could say.
It could. I also think it's just sort of Muse's character as well, because I mean that opening shot where they're in the boats and they have the other crew, like the other half of the crew, in a separate boat, and those guys turn around. So I think I don't even necessarily know that it's is it cot? I guess I don't know, whatever that stuff is.
I'm pretty sure it's
not even
called
sure if it's chat.
Yeah.
Okay, chat. Let's go. No, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of it is just that's how he is. Like that's just how he's wired. Like he's not afraid, and you see that when he stands up to the guy that's like his boss, I guess, on this boat. And what does he do? He hits him with like a gun or something. He like knocks him out. I don't even know if the guy is still alive at the end of the movie or not. But it's I think a lot of it just comes down to he is determined that he is not afraid, and no matter what happens, he's going to be confident in it. And you kind of see that break down some when they're on the ship, because he's in over his head for, I mean, almost the entire movie. I mean, he's just I don't know if it's that he's not seasoned enough, like that they don't necessarily do this size of an operation that they're trying to pull off as frequently as they may something else, or if this is even his first time period being out doing these piratical acts. I mean, I don't necessarily know that we have the context from the movie on that, but he's definitely way in over his head, and I feel like he might have even pulled it off and been somewhat successful were it not for the guy who's absolutely insane. That's part of his crew that yells the whole time and keeps hitting people and like threatening to kill everyone. I think a lot of the problems that he has while he's not only while he's on board the ship, but also in like the small like lifeboat.
Yeah, the lifeboat.
I mean, so many of the problems just boil down to this one guy. And, you know, a lot of times he's like having to override that guy in terms of what he's doing and telling him to stop and doing things that he probably shouldn't have to if he has a crew that actually like follows and respects him.
I agree with that. And there's also the part where you wonder how successful they were in the past, because Musa's character talks about they took a Greek ship the year before, and it was supposedly worth like all this money. And then Tom Hanks' character was like, well, why are you attacking us then if you got all that money last year? And he didn't say anything for a few seconds, and then after that he just like shut up. And so it made you wonder like, oh, was he actually lying about they had actually had some success before?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You see a few things, like some glimpses that maybe he's done this before, but there's also a whole lot of things that he does and sort of says as well that just don't really line up with someone who's like more of a veteran in terms of trying to capture ships.
It's insane seeing I mean, hypothetically, it's possible because at the time there was no security on the ship. What their security was these water pumps that would shoot water off the sides. And it doesn't look very threatening in the movie.
Absolutely
not.
But
they're coming out at such a pressure that if that hits a wooden dinghy, like there's enough pressure coming out that it can easily flip the boat. And if you are flipped that far out in the middle of the ocean, that's just like a death sentence. So that was the one thing, was that it didn't show the potential like consequences, and they could have taken creative liberties and had like a second boat that did get flipped, and you know, half of them end up on the ship and half of them end up stranded at sea. I don't think that happened in real life, but it shows how easily the ship was boarded. And so they're coming at the ship with AKs. They were shooting from this little dinghy. All they had to do was get close enough, get a ladder on, and then the ship had no defenses from there. And that was kind of terrifying. I would assume that this changed a lot about maritime strategy and how we ship cargo around that part of the world. I think now there's a lot more money invested in private security, probably. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's also a company that will let people like pay money to volunteer to be a gunner on a cargo ship. Have you guys seen that?
No,
I haven't seen that. That's crazy.
It's I can probably Google and find some sort of story about this, but it was a popular, like very it was very controversial. I think I saw it last year. There was a company offering spots on ships that were traveling through the Horn of Africa, and they said if you want to pay however many thousand it was for a spot, you can man a machine gun on one of these ships. And I'd assume you're like in international waters where there's like no rule of law, and it was like if you see pirates or anything suspect, like you have free reign to shoot.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they specifically towards the end talk about them being in international waters, and I don't know necessarily how much that it would have changed. I saw something earlier where it said it on IMDb. Apparently, like 11 of the men from Captain Phillips's crew sued him after the incident. He claimed that Phillips was well aware of the danger in the Somali waters, but went in anyway, endangering all of them because he wanted to get the shipment to the harbor faster, even though the shipping company itself sent him a note advising him to avoid the Somali seas. They settled that matter out of court, but I mean, like he kind of went against what his orders were as well and put them in that situation.
I think also I saw, that in the movie, right, it's him like, being concerned about safety and drills and stuff, and apparently it was the opposite, where the crew was concerned about the safety and drills, and Captain Phillips was like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
They always change stuff like that for the protagonist.
Well, and they want to make us like Captain Phillips, whether he was actually a likable guy or not.
A piece of crap.
Yeah, because no one would root for him then. I mean, like I said earlier, like, are we even supposed to be rooting for him to begin with? Like, are we kind of hoping the pirates like pull something off and are actually successful in some way, shape, or form? And I don't know what Somali currency is, but I would think 30 grand is like pretty good money in Somalia. If I had to guess, as poor of a country as it seems to be. I would think 30 grand would probably go a decently long ways, which, I mean, who knows how much of that they actually get to keep with their bosses and people back home.
Yeah, because that's kind of their excuse, right? Is like, if we take this back, we'll be like laughed at that it's not enough to justify what we're required to get, like our quota, I guess.
Yeah, but
it is a real thing, I've found. It is a company of Russian luxury yachts that offer pirate hunting cruises. Okay. Where you can pay about, and this was 2009 when they came out with this, so I'm sure it's gone up. You could pay 3,500 pounds, that was $5,800 per day, to join one of these sailing trips on a yacht from Djibouti in Somalia to Mombasa in Kenya, so the same route. The ships deliberately cruise close to the coast at a speed of 5 nautical miles an hour in an attempt to attract the interest of pirates. You can pay extra for bigger guns. You can pay an extra $5 a day for an AK-47 machine gun, 7 pounds for an extra 100 rounds of ammo, and you are also not solely responsible for the safety of the ship because they also have a squad of ex-Special Forces troops that guard all of these yachts.
Okay.
But you can pay almost $6,000 a day, or you could in 2009, to essentially pay to try to lure and then shoot Somali pirates. One Russian yachtsman said they are worse than pirates, talking about the people who deliberately do this. At least the pirates have the decency to take hostages. These people are just paying to commit murder.
I mean, basically, yeah. It's like a reverse Squid Game almost. That's kind of, I don't know, man. That's crazy. And if that was in 2009, does it say when in 2009 that started? Because this Captain Phillips deal was in 2009.
Oh, July.
I would say it's probably somewhat connected.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when. I want to say maybe it said April on the end credits.
Yeah, I believe it was April.
So,
Yeah, so this would have
That's
been
wild.
posted like 2 or 3 months after that.
That's crazy. I have a log line looting here, and this one is from Netflix. And it's nothing crazy, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually like a pretty decent.
This is a pretty straightforward description.
Yeah.
So.
But it says Somali pirates hijack a cargo ship and hold the captain hostage, setting the stage for a tense confrontation with the U.S. Navy, and then tack on at the end based on a true story, just in case people, are specifically looking to watch something based on a true story. They could watch Captain Phillips.
That is a genre on streaming services.
I think it was like a thriller.
Or like it'll display all
something.
those together, based on true story movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like thriller and maybe suspense or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I will say every single time, even though I know it happens, every time he gets in the lifeboat and the lifeboat goes away from the ship, I'm like, no freaking way. No way. And then I'm like, wait, there's an hour and a half left in this movie. What the hell?
Yeah.
In my mind, it all takes place on the cargo ship. But no, the majority of the movie happens inside the stupid lifeboat.
Apparently, that was like actually filmed on a real lifeboat on the ocean. Like, and Tom Hanks got thrown up on by the crew.
I bet that sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the getting thrown up upon, obviously, but I mean, having to spend that much time in that little.
Oh, dude, you know it was
Riveting
hot.
thing,
Like
getting
when they're
knocked around
sweating and stuff on there, that's real deal. Sweating.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, and one of the things that I don't even know if one of you told me this or where that I heard this from, but none of the Somali actors in the film had ever acted before. There was an open casting call that was held in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which has the largest population of Somalis in the U.S. Wow. So the 4 like main crew that is in the lifeboat for most of the movie were actually like maybe Somali American.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of cool.
They were Somali immigrants, and I think didn't they all work together at the Mall of America?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what you had said.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the casting director, I think they're up there with like among the best acting for villains in movies in recent history. I think they did such a good job. Like, I would never have known that they were not actors.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think part of it was that they were just so comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a very hard role to cast. Like, obviously they would want somebody who could speak fluent Somali and all that, but
yeah,
it was just like such a dramatic and very intense role for someone who's never acted to be able to do. And I know that those shoot schedules must have been so rough and being constantly at sea.
Yeah.
So like I can't
It's pretty crazy to think
praise
about.
them, and I can't praise them enough for like how well they did in this movie. I know Tom Hanks gets all the credit, but they were legitimately so good in this movie,
Yeah.
especially the main guy. I know he's gotten some attention elsewhere. I did read that he was only paid $65,000 for
Yep.
this movie.
Yep.
Tom Hanks got, I don't even know how many million for it. It just shows like that there is quite a big pay discrepancy. And of course you say like Tom Hanks is the name that sells, and it was this guy's first role. And so you can say, well, yeah, but
well,
no
I
one
mean,
knew
I
that
feel
he-
like people probably would come to the theater to watch a Tom Hanks movie more than they would just
Yeah.
this by the name Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did see that he got paid $65,000. And after the movie was over, he went to work at his brother's mobile phone store in Minneapolis. So just went back to
He
doing
has,
whatever he's doing.
however, gotten more TV work. Did you know that?
I know he was also in a movie called The Pirates of Somalia that we may watch on this at some point.
He did do that again. Let me find.
And coming next year, there's a movie called Somali Pirates. Where he's going to do it again.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Not
Play
really.
the same
that's-
role over and over.
All with slightly different titles.
Yeah.
You know, what if he's coming out with
know-
a movie called I'm the Captain Now? What if that was like real?
Apparently that was an ad lib. Like he just said that. He came up with that, ad libbed it,
I think
and
I-
it is the
I
most
think I have heard that.
is the most famous like line from the whole movie.
Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me. I am the captain now. I mean,
Let's
we have it in
go.
our freaking intro, man. Like it's
I know.
huge.
If so, that's got to be one of the most famous and most quoted ad libs ever.
Probably the most quoted thing from a movie by people who probably haven't seen the movie. I would
Oh,
argue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Like just
Yeah.
So he won a British Academy Film Award. He won an Academy Award, a Golden Globe Award, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. So not a bad debut.
No, absolutely not.
He also appeared in Eye in the Sky, Good Time, Pirates of Somalia, and he is also in Blade Runner 2049.
Really?
yeah, he has a very small part. He's like
He had
a
a small role in that.
doctor guy or something.
Huh.
He was also a featured regular on the second season of the horror anthology Castle Rock, and had a recurring role in the Showtime satirical comedy series created by Nathan Fielder called The Curse.
What? He's in The Curse?
Mm-hmm.
Have I not watched The Curse? Maybe not. I
He
don't know.
is in Tyson's Run, Agent Game, starring Mel Gibson, and appeared in the Apple TV Plus series Little America. Most recently, he was in The Curse, and that was 2023. So I'm assuming he's probably been involved in a couple more things since then that are on their way. But
Interesting.
if there's anybody that I've wanted to be successful in Hollywood and movies, I think it's this guy.
Yeah.
He's good. You know who he reminds me of? Jimon Hinsu. For some reason.
He is similar.
He gives me a similar vibe.
Because he sort of got like a breakout type role and then has been able to leverage it. Although I think Jimon Hinsu has been able to leverage it more. But he's
Oh,
also been around
well,
like 10
yeah.
years longer. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I hope we see him again in something big.
He also
Oh, God. What are you about to say?
Now.
Look at your face.
just a couple more, just talking about his resume. He also is in an episode of Hawaii Five-0,
Mm-hmm.
and he does the voice on a show called Family Guy for the same pirate that he played in Captain.
He got to be a Family Guy?
So yeah, I'm assuming they had a
What?
cutaway of some sort of Captain Phillips. And
Oh, that's funny.
He did the voice in that as well.
That's really funny.
So it seems like anything that comes out about this event, he plays the pirate, which is cool. He seems to have really cornered that market.
Apparently, I also saw the director said in an interview that he saw the Somali pirates as criminals, not terrorists, and that he wanted the story to feature their desperation and willingness to do illegal and violent things as part of the hopelessness of life in Somalia. So kind of like what you were saying earlier,
Yeah.
like, they don't really have a choice. This is just kind of something that, I don't necessarily know is thrust upon them, but it's like, what other choice do I have?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way that he wanted them to be viewed, was more as criminals. Like, these guys are not coming
for sure.
to like hijack a boat just to hijack a boat and say
They're there to make money.
yeah, like
ultimately.
they're specifically there to make money, and that's really all they care about too, is making money. Like, so much so, I think the scene where he's talking with the negotiator is a pretty powerful moment in the movie too, to understand like just how desperate that these guys are, and how much like the money is just so important to them, because he's talking to the negotiator and the guy somehow figures out who the four of them are and says that he's talked to the elders of their tribe and that they need the captain Muse to come on board, which is, all just a ruse to get him off the ship, so that they can kill the other guys. But they still have some leverage there with him being with them, with Captain Phillips being on the lifeboat. And but the fact that he's even willing when the other guys are like, dude, it's a trap. Like they haven't contacted the elders are not coming. For the fact that he is willing to go with them,
right, to
work out some kind of a ransom deal and get the money, I think just speaks volumes to how desperate that these guys are. Like, and I mean, who knows what would happen to them when they get back to Somalia empty-handed?
Right.
Because I mean, he radio like his boss at one point that's supposed to like meet them to pick them up or something, and the boss is like, "You failed at stealing the ship," and he just leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, they get left out when there's like barely a hint of the Navy coming. They're like, "We out."
Yeah.
That's when I realized, do not mess with the U.S. military. I don't remember who it was. I think it was like a mix of Navy SEALs and Marines and like top-end snipers. The fact I knew, there's one of those like goosebumps moments when out of nowhere, like he just gets a call and he just starts like naming them by name, and then you go like, how in the world did they have the intelligence to figure this out? So like, was this like a CIA informant that's like embedded in Somalia that knew who these guys were?
Well, and the fact that he radios them and then all of the guys, like the Somali pirates, like look at each other like, he knows who we are? Like, are you kidding me? How is that possible?
I thought it was cool how the plan kind of unraveled and how smart. One, the pirates were super intelligent. Like, I'm assuming there was some reality that most of them actually knew English. And they like, I mean, you've got to be very intelligent to speak English as a non-native language, especially in Somalia, where exactly are they getting that education? Like they're learning English probably out of necessity, probably a number of different languages. And I thought it was super interesting how Captain Phillips, and I just want to know what the truth is to this and how exactly he got rescued, but he would like leak certain things that he knew that only his crew would know, like when he accidentally leaned on the radio and he was like, yeah, I'll take you through the ship. We're going to start from the top and work our way down to the bottom. And he accidentally or he pretended to not know what he was doing, but he actually put it like over the intercom. And so the crew knows like where they're going. And what I thought was interesting, how he told the Navy that he was in seat 15, and he just like told it to his family, and the pirates may not have recognized that, but he was like, yeah, just tell my family I'm safe and I'm right where I am in seat 15. And knowing that the Navy has like trained thermals, they will have the schematics of this exact lifeboat, and so they can essentially, and they do in the finale of this film, like snipe all three guys at the same time, because they probably had a really good intelligence that, yes, this body that we're seeing on thermal is Captain Phillips, right? Because he told us exactly where he was sitting on this, and so we can assume this is him. I'm assuming they probably did not have like very good visibility through this. Like, it makes it look in the movie like they shot them all through windows. I'm wondering if they shot more through like obstructed views and just shot based on really high-tech thermal imagery.
It doesn't
that's
look
sort of
like
implied,
it.
but-
It looks like they can see them through the windows. Because I mean, that ship is so small. Like the fact that he's even in seat 15 and there's 15 seats on there is just kind of crazy to me. But they're waiting to get a clear line of sight on all of them through the windows. And it cuts back to it quite a few times. But a lot of it is they're making call outs like I got 2 green, 1 red. And he's like, I need 3 greens. And and then they're really struggling to get it. It looks like they're about to kill Captain Phillips, and he's like, stop the tow, and it jars him enough that the guy leans forward, and that's when they all pull the trigger. And I don't know, the whole like operation, considering the fact that they've had a couple hours to like plan and work on this thing. It just speaks to how prepared that our military is. Realistically, I think is that no matter what the situation is, like they'll figure out some way to make it happen. But the sequence there of them trying to get a clear line of sight on these 3 guys that are still on the lifeboat is pretty intense.
The coolest shot in the whole thing was the guys dropping with the parachutes into the ocean.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly who they were. I don't know if those were the snipers, if those are like the best snipers that we have, like the best assets that we have. And they were in another part of the world, and then they were just tapped for this mission. They get on a plane, are told to jump out of a plane, land in the ocean, hit some rendezvous point, get rescued, pulled over in a dinghy, whatever it may be. Like Ethan Hunt, he just drops in the middle of nowhere, and the military is just there. I don't know, like the logistics of that is just crazy.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about this movie, and I think one of Tom Hanks' best acted scenes ever, is when he's getting the medical treatment after.
It's crazy.
It's very emotional, and I noticed that the sound mixing in that part is very quiet because he's obviously very shell shocked. And I think that was an interesting choice and a cool choice.
I read, which I don't know how true this is. I'm pretty sure I read earlier that entire scene was completely unscripted, and they just told the medical examiner, examine him like you would someone in the military.
Right.
I think wasn't the medical examiner not an actor? Like wasn't
no? She's an actual medical examiner. Yeah. In the military.
Which you could, that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a very accurate representation of shock.
Yeah, it was super real. It was very, very well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because dude, he's on the boat. He thinks he's gonna die for sure. Like he writes a note to his family, and then he is basically tied up and blindfolded, and then like right before they're gonna kill him, they fire, and all 3 of those guys die, and he's like, "What was that?" And then he just screams, and it's not like a scream of triumph, I would say. It's more like a scream of, "Oh my God, I cannot believe that they just killed these 3 guys while I'm in here, and I have their blood all over me, and I'm alive somehow, and I'm not dead." And like it was, I don't know. Somehow he portrayed like 50 different emotions through this scream.
Yeah,
it's wild. Was that like within 10 seconds, there's a Navy SEAL or whoever it is that just like jumps down from the top. And it's like, where was this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. They had a boat. As soon as they shot, those guys were on that boat very quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that medical bay scene at the end is crazy. Like you get a little bit of like the Forrest Gump kind of voice once or twice during that scene from Tom Hanks. But I don't know. He like you said, portrays someone who's in shock like extremely well. Just kind of like halfway coherent, but also like doesn't really understand like what's going on or where he is. She asked him and she's like, calm down, like breathe. And he's just
when they said that, did that make y'all go? Did that make you breathe slower?
No.
Okay, never mind. Me neither.
So he got sued for this? Does that mean that the movie makes it look like, oh, he was like, we're going into dangerous waters, we better be prepared? Does that make it seem more like, in reality, he probably took maybe like a route that was too close to the coast, and then his crew was like, it was his fault in the first place?
I think in reality, yes.
Right. I think that the crew was arguing probably in the court case that he took unnecessary risk that could possibly have led to the escalation of.
And who knows how much time that he was actually saving by doing that. But yeah, I mean, unnecessary risk.
And I think it was about his book, not the movie. It was like long before all the suing and the settling of the court case happened before the movie was even made. I think it was more about his book.
Probably.
Like the news, like news outlets and stuff, him talking to them.
Yeah. Or maybe. I don't know. They may have just sued him anyway because of their trauma. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's apparently it was, from what I read earlier, it was like his decision to try to save some time and cut closer to the coast of Somalia, and basically is the reason that this even happened at all. Like, I think if they had just stayed a little wider, it's too far from the coast and they can't really like sustainably go that far, I think, with the boats that they have. And so it would just, you just never even come close to making contact with the Somali pirates.
I have an alternative log line, if you'd like to hear that.
Absolutely.
This story is an exploration of courage under fire, staying calm under unthinkably difficult crises, and showing compassion to those in need. Also celebrates the teamwork between Tom Hanks and his crew, and highlights selfless acts to help others. I'm just kidding. That's somebody's Letterboxd review of Sully.
What? Oh, you're a genius. You're a genius. You're a mad scientist. That's so smart to be like, yeah, this movie, like, just kidding. It was this other movie that is weirdly similar.
Basically the same
Why
thing.
did Tom Hanks play two guys?
If you were an older gentleman piloting a very large vehicle of some sort and something goes wrong,
you better watch out because Tom Hanks is going to play you.
Will be playing you, yeah. Which is why my Letterboxd review of Sully was, look at me, I am the pilot now.
I think I liked that actually when you put that on Letterboxd.
You know, he's done boats, he's done planes.
I've never seen Sully.
Like Tom Hanks is going to play like Casey Jones, where like the guy who like crashed a train in the 1800s.
I don't know.
It's like a train and then a car.
We're all like transportation crisis movies, like shooting on the same set, and they just
maybe. And why did they all come out like 2010 to like 2014?
Yeah, and why was Matt Damon in like 4 Mars movies in that same time frame?
So true. You're absolutely right.
It's true. Yeah. I've never seen Sully.
I've never seen Sully either.
Look at me. I am the pilot now.
This is a better movie than Sully, isn't it?
I like this one better than Sully.
They do the Oppenheimer thing?
Yeah, where you think it's going to be about like the bomb.
Yeah.
But it's about everything else.
This is mostly going to be about the crash. But it's largely about it jumps back
his love of Evanescence
through time the entire time, and it does the same thing to where like all of a sudden the first scene is the crash happening, and then it's about the like lawsuits he faced and him trying to clear his name of being accused of being like an unsatisfactory pilot. And that he actually had no other choice than to land in the Hudson. It feels a lot like Oppenheimer, where it's like I'm in this. I'm giving testimony here on this
Sellenheimer.
day, and then we'll cut to a flashback, and then you'll get more context of him trying to clear his name more. Another flashback. So it's not necessarily about like the event; it's his name being dragged through the mud after it.
Okay. Interesting. So look at me, I am the captain now is like a gigantic meme. Like we kind of spoke on earlier, you know, there's people that have probably never seen this movie that are familiar with that phrase. Is it such a gigantic meme now that it takes away from the impact that that line has in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I say that because I laughed when it happened in the movie.
I was about to say, I bet
it's
Braxton
not meant
laughed.
to be funny. I did. I was like, and then I was like, oh, I felt bad because I was supposed to be like the serious moment, but I laughed.
It got too big in pop culture in like 2012 when this came out.
Yeah.
And
2013.
2013.
That's crazy this came out in 2013. I could have swore it would be like 2011 or something.
I know. McChicken's were literally 99 cents back then. Shows you how much the world's changed, right?
Yeah, what are they now? Like $2? $2.50?
They're probably more like $5.
I think they're $2.39.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I think it's hit pop culture too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else it was in. Was it in the trailer? Because why do so many people that haven't seen the movie, like what other piece of media was it featured in? It seems like it would have been number one in the trailer, probably constantly playing on TV back then. And then two, that happens a lot of time with movies where they do a parody, like Epic Movie.
Right.
Where a scene of like that is parodied with the actual line in the movie. But I don't remember what other pieces of media that line was in that would have made fun of it, that would have solidified it in people's minds like that.
I don't know. I think maybe it was possibly in the trailer. McChickens are also $1.89 currently, just so we're aware. So still under $2, but still too freaking expensive for a McChicken.
What's a McDouble?
I don't know. Let me look. But yeah, I mean, dude, for it to be as big as it is, which I mean, the culture that we live in now with social media, like people post stuff like that all the time. So it would not surprise me if people have just seen it on social media.
Yeah.
That being said,
and
I'm pretty sure it was in the trailer.
And in 2013 too, like memes had a much longer lifespan.
Yeah. McDoubles are $1.99.
Which again, the no tricks thing also made me laugh. Which that's obviously not a worldwide meme, but it made me laugh thinking about all the times that Christian said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Movies that are very well done and respected and serious are the funniest ones to make memes out of, right? So this is ripe for the picking, basically.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I watched it, and I don't know. I didn't laugh. But I think in my head, I was like,
in your brain,
I was
right?
like, oh, there it is.
Yes.
And it wasn't like wow, that's like a really serious line, which it is. It was more of a, oh, cool. Because it's kind of the turning point in the movie. Like from then on, everything is no longer, you know, Captain Phillips being afraid of the pirates coming. Like it is under Musse's control from that point on.
Yeah. Can we talk about another line that I love?
Sure.
Which is the Navy commander guy. As soon as they arrest Musse, and he says, "Captain Phillips is free. All your friends are dead."
Mm-hmm.
I agree because that guy said that guy says that with all the smugness.
Oh yeah.
Of like,
did you kill my friends? I'm free.
I'm a cool Navy guy, and I have this hat, and now I'm gonna say this cool thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say he was a little too smug for my taste, though. I was like, okay.
Yeah, if Look at Me at the Captain Now was, oh, there it is. When that guy said that, I was like, ouch, that's cold. Like, dude, just brutal. Just dropping
Imagine
it.
if
Just
you think there
dropping
was
it
a
on
cut?
the guy as, yes, we killed your friends. Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, he might as well have said sorry, but not sorry at the end of it. That was the tone of which he said it.
F you, man. F you.
Barcott and Tom Hanks had never met in person prior to the scene of them entering the captain's the room.
That was the first scene that they shot, apparently, with the pirates. Like, not with them on the boat. Apparently, that was the first one, yeah. And apparently, Tom Hanks looked at him after that and said, so, you're from Minnesota.
That's amazing. So you're from Minnesota, huh?
Before we get into bingo, I have another question for you guys. And it is this actually a pirate movie? Or is this just a tense, like, hostage situation, like, thriller?
It's the thriller first. But I think this is definitely much more of a pirate movie than a lot of ones that we've watched. Simply because it goes into the psychology of the pirates and the reality of it.
Yeah,
It spends more time with that than any other movie we've watched. But I don't think you could say it's a pirate movie, ultimately.
It is technically, but when we think of pirate movies, everything tends to be jumbled up in this, or like bunched together with this idea of Caribbean piracy.
Yeah.
Although we've watched a movie that's been outside of that, we've watched one that took place before. We watched one that was in another part of the world and not typically grouped together in that area. Piracy is defined as an act of robbery or criminal violence by ship or boat-borne attackers upon another ship or a coastal area with the goal of stealing cargo and valuable goods or taking hostages. That was, in fact, the main plot driver of this movie.
They do more legitimate piracy in this movie than many, many other films based on your definition.
There's a lot of things where, like, they have the regalia, but they don't actually do anything in terms of piracy.
Right, yes.
This one, they do piracy. There's no, like, fancy swords or swashbuckling or anything like that. But, I mean...
No, this is a pirate movie.
It's
and I
piracy.
think it should be considered, in my mind, one of the greats, because they're the only ones that, in a mainstream sense, have tried to tell the story of piracy as it takes place now.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that it never really stopped. Like, this still goes on in a lot of parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're probably most familiar with the Somali pirates, just because we've seen them in the news. I mean, not only with this, but they took a hostage. Weren't they the ones that took a hostage or two a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe like 10 years ago now. Now I'm thinking about it. Because I'm pretty sure that was like we were in high school or college. But yeah, I mean, they're probably the ones we're most familiar with, but there's a lot of piracy that goes on these days. You just don't really hear much about it. So, which I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the defenses and things that have been put in place maybe after this event with the Maersk, Alabama. Or, you know, if you just have your hoses working correctly, that doesn't happen to begin with. So I'm sure that there's maybe the fallout of this situation is just tighter regulations on safety and like checks and making sure that everything is in working order before you leave.
Right. Yep.
Like it may not be, you know, okay, well now we have to have security and like snipers on the roof or, you know, anything like that. Maybe it's literally just like, hey, before you leave, like you must complete these checks and you're not permitted to leave until the checks are done. All right, Braxton, let's look at some pirate bingo. I'm sure the list is extremely short for this one, but we'll see what you came up with.
It's pretty interesting. I have I've got, again, only a few. But first, I do want to ask about one.
Okay.
Which is, I have one marked as the crew killing each other. Now, technically, none of them tried to kill each other, but they did fight several times. Mark it or no mark it?
I would say no.
Okay. Understandable. All right, here's what I've got. These are the only ones that I think actually count. Stealing another ship. They did that. They legitimately committed an act of piracy. They do say the word pirate. It's got that going for it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to love this one. Unnecessary shirtless guy on the crew. Because they accidentally tear off Captain Phillips' shirt.
Yep.
So that's kind of a
Gray
random
area,
gimme
but we'll
that it's
accept
got.
I will say, when his shirt came off in the water and he's shirtless for like a good period there before they bring him another shirt, I was like, please, for the love of God, give the man a shirt.
Give this man a shirt.
Like, I'm tired of looking at Tom Hanks without a shirt on.
Mm. Fight or vote on who is captain. I consider the "I'm the captain now" bit kind of fits in this category because it's a discussion, right, about who's going to get to be the captain.
Come on, man. That's the easiest example. They actually have a dispute in the Somali pirates about who is the captain.
They also have that, yes. So, interestingly, this I believe ties it, having 4 marks, which is the exact same marks that a film called Fool's Gold had on our bingo card. So it is tied with Fool's Gold with the amount of checks it got.
Cool.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't figure there was too much going on there.
Mm-hmm. Not many tropes, but, they've got the
tropes.
bare bones stuff down.
Well, let's get into our ratings here. So if you're unfamiliar with our rating system, it's called the Pieces of 8. We rate the movie in a general movie sense, like what we just generally think about the movie on a scale of 0 to 8. And then we rate on how piratey the movie is on a scale of 0 to 8 as well. Do you guys want me to start us off? Do y'all want to go first?
No, you start.
All right. So for my general rating, I mean, I really like this movie. Is it the greatest movie I've ever seen? No. Is it even the best movie that I think we've watched on this podcast? No. But it's a really solid movie. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 8 on my general rating. And then in terms of piratiness, they literally engage in piracy. So I don't know how to rate this movie.
I know.
I almost rated it probably too low because I feel like in terms of piratiness, we need some more tropes and things in there when we're talking about pirate movies. Even though this movie might be one of the, I don't know, greatest actual examples of piracy taking place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a 2, which is probably way too low. I feel like for this movie, I should probably go middle of the road, but I don't know. It's just missing some things for me. So I'm going to give it a 2, which is probably too low, but it's better than a 1, which I actually thought about giving it. So
okay. So I think I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 8 for quality because I really liked it. But again, I think there's some that I subjectively, not objectively, prefer to this style of film. But that being said, it was very, very well made. And again, I appreciated a lot more about it upon the second watch than I did the first time. The first time I was like, it was okay. But this time I was like, no, it's got some, it has some legitimate, artistry behind it. The piratiness, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 8. I'm going to split it right down the middle because I think the realism and, like you said, what it's actually about bumps it up there, but it doesn't get to be any higher than that because it has no of our fun typical tropes. So that's why it's going to get an even split. 4 out of 8.
I will give this a 7 out of 8 on overall rating. Kind of torn between 6.5 and 7. I will go ahead and give it a 7. It's very entertaining. And I do genuinely like this movie. And for piratiness, I will give it a 6 because I think this is one of the most accurate representations of piracy. It's just not the era that we're used to. It has a couple points taken away just because it's not the typical historical pirate theme, but it is legitimate piracy as it is happening today.
Yeah. I almost feel like I should give it a 3 for piratiness. I feel like it was missing some things for me. That being said, I think I gave The Abode like a 0.5 or a 1, and this is significantly significantly better and a way more piratey than The Abode. So maybe I should go 3. I'm gonna amend my piratiness score to a 3 out of 8. Because this one is literally modern day piracy. Like, honestly, if we were not judging it based on,
what we usually
tropes and what you would view as piracy, like, or pirate movies, like, this is an 8, right? Am I wrong in saying that? Like, it's literally a pirate movie. The only thing that would make it maybe slightly less than an 8 would be the fact that they are unsuccessful.
True. Yeah.
And they all die. Which I don't know how often you have pirates in a movie die.
Yeah.
Like a pirate movie, which I guess this isn't technically.
Or actually go to prison, which he did.
Yeah.
By the way, he gets out 2038.
Did you do the math on that?
No, I don't. We said it on Wikipedia.
Oh.
I just thought that was a funny year number.
Huh. I wonder how old he was when he went in.
He was he was apparently either 16 or 17 or 18 or 19. No one really knows how old he is.
So he
was tried as an adult. What did you say?
2038 or eligible for parole in 38?
No, I think he's out in 2038. He's probably eligible for parole earlier than that. Because he was sentenced to 33 years.
Huh. So he would be like roughly 50 by the time he gets out.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't be that old.
What do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll go to New York, like he said in the movie?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They probably will just ship him back to Somalia. Be like,
yeah, maybe.
He's not a citizen, is he?
No.
No. He was tried under like international laws.
I just didn't know if there was some weird citizenship quirk where you could gain citizenship if you commit a crime, and then because he's imprisoned in Indiana.
Yeah, maybe in other scenarios, but
so,
because he wasn't like tried under the laws of the United States, like he was tried under like national or international laws. He's in prison in the U.S., but he technically isn't like a United States criminal. Does that make sense? That's what I'd assume.
So they just immediately, upon release, they'd immediately deport him back to Somalia.
That's what I would guess.
I mean, bro's probably living a better life in prison than he would be in Somalia anyway.
Maybe.
Prison life, I think, is kind of cushy a lot of the time.
Got food.
Yeah.
Shelter.
You have a bed.
You don't have to be a pirate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as hot.
There's a lot of movies that would be in the top 10 of all time for like sweatiness and how hot it looks.
Yeah.
But this has to be up there. This is definitely within like the top.
I mean, this is close
50.
to Top Gun, right? Or maybe
worse.
No,
I don't know if anything beats Top Gun. That's crazy, the amount of sweat that pours off people in that movie.
Yeah.
There's people in Top Gun inside the air-conditioned part of the Navy ship sweating, like pouring down, like, and they're inside. Think about the people outside.
I don't know. I guess it's freaking hot.
That ends my dissertation on the sweat of Top Gun. There's no merch for this movie, but I do find it interesting that there's a Lego set for, what's the company called? Maersk,
Alabama. Yeah, Maersk.
There's a Lego set that's a Maersk ship, and the colors are sort of similar to this ship. Is this ship like aqua colored with orange in the bottom, or is it the other way around? Yeah, that's what the Lego ship looks like. Which I assume maybe that's what all of our ships look like.
Navy at the top, I think, with like orange or red at the bottom.
Yeah. But anyway, so you could get the Captain Phillips Lego set.
Oh, Christian. How historically accurate is this movie? I almost forgot. Christian's historical check. We were talking about all kinds of stuff.
Well, I kind of gave it, I think I'm not sure how much creative liberty they took with this specific story. Probably a little bit. I think they made the pirates older. The actors.
Probably, because they're like what? I mean, mid-20s at least in this. Except for the one guy that's young. Which if he was younger than the other guys in real life, he was maybe like 12.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if they would have noticed that he was younger.
Well, it's almost time for us to take this ship to port, but before we do, we wanted to make sure you found our proverbial message in a bottle detailing next month's movie of choice. So coming September 10th, we will take a look at a movie that features one of the more recently famous personal struggles with piracy as we get to see Steve the Pirate in action in Dodgeball.
No way. Are we watching Dodgeball?
We're watching Dodgeball.
We're doing Dodgeball? Christian, have you
Yes.
seen Dodgeball?
Yes, I had the poster, Grab Life by the Balls. Fun fact, Steve the Pirate studied acting at Lawnmowers College.
I know.
Really?
Yes, he did. And he's a robot in Star Wars and a bunch of other cool stuff.
Which is crazy. It's like he's probably
I'm
eating
so
at our
excited.
Taco Bell.
You just blew my mind. But I never think about it in that context. But you're
Oh my
absolutely
God. But yes, next
Heck
month
yeah.
we are watching Dodgeball. So it should be a lot of fun. I kind of pulled this one out of left field. We have kind of lacked planning on our future episodes. We try to plan like 6 months out. And this was the last of our 6-month plan. So we're actually about to plan
we're
that
due
out
to go
right
back
now. So
around to
I
the
pulled one out of
adjacent.
left field earlier and said, we're watching freaking Dodgeball.
Yeah. Great choice.
It's going to be a
Great choice
time.
to follow up Captain Phillips.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We got to keep them guessing.
Yeah, we need. It's been a while since we've had a comedy too. I feel like so it's time. Unless you count The Abode as a comedy because it's just so bad, it's funny.
We made it a comedy.
I think they made it a comedy.
I'm the ruler of my land.
So stupid, so stupid. Oh my gosh!
Watch
All
The
right,
Abode.
well,
You won't regret it.
we'll see you guys back next month for Dodgeball. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We hope you enjoyed Captain Phillips, and we can't wait for you to join us on our next adventure.